Remember, remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. I see no reason why gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. On Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes, we'll attempt to remember the gunpowder plot in a unique way. As acclaimed psychic medium Derek Acorah brings all the conspirators in the plot to life, including the man himself, Guy Fawkes. And we'll try to answer those questions that have baffled the experts for years.
The story is not complete.
In November 1605, government officials searched the Houses of Parliament after being tipped off by an anonymous letter. In a small room, they found Guy Fawkes with enough gunpowder to blow the entire building and everyone in it to smithereens. Guy was arrested, taken to the Tower of London, interrogated and tortured. He confessed that he and a group of conspirators, led by Robert Catesby, had planned their dastardly plot. Their motive, King James I's persecution of the Catholics. The men were hunted down, brought to the Tower, and found guilty of high treason. They were hung, drawn and quartered, and their heads were displayed on stakes. This is Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes.
Welcome to Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes. Now, I'm in York, where Guy Fawkes was known to have spent most of his early childhood, and it's here later where we will return to conduct a séance to try and make contact with Guy Fawkes himself.
Our faith was so strong!
And we'll be visiting other locations around England in our quest for Guy Fawkes, including travelling to central London to try and locate the site where the gunpowder plot is known to have been hatched, at the Duck and Drake pub.
This building, it's angled.
To the Houses of Parliament, where Guy Fawkes was arrested and eventually executed.
Quietly crying out for mercy.
We'll also head to the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, where Derek will perform psychometry to read the residual energy on the lantern that Guy Fawkes used during the plot.
They know I'm not John Johnson.
And then on to the Public Records Office at Kew, where the anonymous letter and written confessions of Guy Fawkes have been carefully preserved for 400 years.
Parker must read this. Parker.
Then we'll travel by boat to Traitor's Gate and the Tower of London, where Guy Fawkes met his darkest hours.
How could they take any more out of this man?
Now, leading our quest is psychic medium Derek Acorah. Derek, great to see you. Are you looking forward to the quest?
Absolutely, I'm way excited, Angus. And of course, I've got my guide Sam with me here to try and unravel maybe any secrets connected to the gunpowder plot.
And also joining us from Bristol University is Professor Hutton, an expert in the gunpowder plot. Now, Professor Hutton, there are many conflicting theories surrounding the gunpowder plot. Now, from a historian's point of view, what are the burning questions that need answering?
Number one, who wrote the Mount Eagle letter that betrayed the plot? And number two, why did the plotters carry on with the plot when they knew they'd been rumbled?
Well, there's certainly lots to find out, so let's get started. Our quest begins in central London, reputedly the site where the gunpowder plot was first hatched, at the Duck and Drake pub. Professor, why are we here at this location?
Because somewhere around here was the Duck and Drake Tavern, where the gunpowder plotters met to swear the oath to make the plot happen. We have no idea where it was, because the district was flattened by the Great Fire of London, and the one thing rebuilt was this church, St Clement's.
OK, Derek, well, this is where you come in. Let's see if we can find it.
Angus, let's go this way.
Derek's psychic ability immediately leads him to the south of the church.
It stinks. It's... ooh, you know, it's like it takes my... ooh. Here we go. Oh, it's angled. This building, it's angled. It's not as we've got here. It's angled. I go across in the front, here.
What does that mean?
I feel that there's, within the structure of this building, this inn, you know, it's like as if I'm at a tip and I could go into the water here. There's no two ways about this. We're so close to the running water.
Now, down there is actually the River Thames, but it's quite a fair bit down.
It's closer. It's closer. Why, I don't know.
He's right about the smell he was experiencing here, something flowing, because the River Thames came up to within a few feet of us here. It was much broader in those days. And the really fascinating point is about the tavern, because conventional wisdom would have it in the opposite direction from the church. We've come in the wrong direction, most people would think. What we'd have here were private gardens and houses going down to the river. But it's possible that a tavern was here, in which case the accepted wisdom is wrong.
I'm hearing utterances, a group, there's a be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, and then there's this hilarity and this jovialness that's going on, and it seems to be this, the atmosphere is being charged with the energy of expectancy.
The first meeting of the 5 core members of the Gunpowder Plot took place in central London at the Duck and Drake pub in 1604. There was Robert Catesby, Thomas Percy, Thomas Wintour, John Jack Wright, and Guy Fawkes.
Gentlemen, I propose a toast. Good King James has had his chance. I say we blow him back to Scotland and see the English throne restored to the Church in Rome.
And I get this lull. I get one man who seems to be, my words, lauding it. He's got everyone captivated. Everyone's listening to him. He's got leadership qualities, this one. He's Robert. That keeps on flooding my mind. Robert. He's a strong-willed character. He's a very, I feel flamboyant. I've got this feeling of flamboyance about him. It's as if these other souls are looking up to him. And I feel there's, when they exited, after a period of time, they were coming out elated. They were elated as if this was something that they could achieve, that they were going to do. And I feel without Robert being in central position and place, they would not have had this innate motivation.
Well, this helps us a great deal, Derek, at the start of our quest.
Catesby. Robert Catesby. I feel that within this group of hothead men, there were two men of a similar, if not nature. One would be Guy Fawkes and one would be Robert.
Derek's right that Guy Fawkes and Robert Catesby have similar natures. They're both men of action, they're both religiously completely devoted. But there's a slight difference because Catesby's the much more impressive character. He's the leader of the plot, Guy is one of his stooges.
When in each other's company, they would be a force to be reckoned with. Different type of men, but with same push, drive, motivation, inner strength, mental strength. They had the ingredients.
As the plot expanded, the 5 members were joined by another 8 conspirators. Each brought their own talents and expertise. But the more people who knew about the plot, the more dangerous it became.
Derek draws closer to the plotters and encounters a different kind of psychic experience.
Oh, my eyes.
What is it, Derek?
I can't see. Oh. My eyes are burning. Get it off, Sam. Take it off me. Take it off me.
Okay?
Yeah, fine. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all right. It was like as if a flame, a bright light, a flame, and a flash coming up at my face. And I heard shouting and screaming, and there's men falling down, and it's a sorrowful mess. It's a sorrowful mess There was a fire. No, it's not a fire. It's something to do with the powder. Something to do with the powder, the flame, and up. I'm seeing men's faces. They're black. They're charred. It's like as if they're... The gunpowder went up and blue. Was it here? Was it in this building? It was not. It was not. But Robert knew. It was a foolhardy decision to do what he did. He did not listen to me. He would not listen to me. And we suffered the consequence. We are wet. We are soaking through. Get it in. Take it in. Don't do this. Take it off me. Back it off. I don't want the inside. Take it off me now. Yeah, I'm okay, thank you. Can I just tell you, Agnes? They've, the energies here, because of movement and what have you, to a place elsewhere, was of a consequence. This is absolutely absurd, even to me, to transport the energies to a place of a dwelling or a building, something where these men were soaked through. They were told to take in this powder, and one of these men decided to place this powder, and it's like as if it was close to flames. It was no sooner done and turned, and it was like flames, and knocked these men down.
Like something's gone wrong?
Yes, absolutely. It's got nothing to do with this building, this inn here. Nothing.
Nothing to do with it?
No. It's something at this point that's not finished.
He's got Robert Catesby absolutely correct as a character, but that's well known from the books. And everything he described about rain and powder being dried out and exploding and burning in the eyes happened in reality but 120 miles away from here, over in the West Midlands at Holbeach House.
We'll discover more about Holbeach House when we travel there later in the quest. But still to come, we find out who bought the gunpowder and how it got to the Houses of Parliament.
There was 11 trips, 11 journeys.
And Derek performs psychometry on Guy Fawkes' actual lantern to try and unearth more secrets surrounding the plot.
He's worried.
And Derek will tell us more about Guy Fawkes himself.
The symbols of faith. And I get the cross. The cross is here with it.
Welcome back to Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes. Still to come, Derek will be performing psychometry on the lantern Guy Fawkes carried 400 years ago, and we'll be retracing the route Guy Fawkes travelled with 36 barrels of gunpowder. Now, exactly where the plotters acquired the gunpowder isn't known. Some believe it was shipped in from foreign sympathisers, although it's more likely it was bought on the black market from the Tower of London. Well, what we do know is that it ended up here in Lambeth and was transported across the river by boat. As the River Thames plays an important role in the plot, we take a boat ride to see if the psychic connections are stronger.
At this moment, virtually, coming under this bridge now and just training my mind psychically to try and discern any mental pictures of those days and times. What I have become aware of, and it may sound crazy, I've got this stench, a stench that seems to be surrounding psychically my physical body, but it seems to be coming from either side. And the only way I can say is that maybe it's taken me back to those times when the stench was quite unbelievable.
London in 1605 is a city you'd have smelt for a few miles before you reached it, especially if you're unlucky enough to be downwind. There simply is no garbage disposal system. Everything is chucked into the street and eventually into the river, and I mean literally everything. And so it smells like the worst sort of public lavatory combined with a council garbage dump.
I've just become aware as I was talking to you, and mentally a name was placed in front of me here. Now again, this is not coming from residual energy because there's not with water, but I get very strongly the name Wright. And Wright seems to be getting thanked. Oh, look at this. Whoa, thank you. Oh, Wright is being thanked. He's being thanked by another man. Thanked for the delivery. Thanked for the delivery. What did he deliver? He did the deal. He did the deal. He keeps on saying, Christopher did the deal. He's thanking Christopher. And I feel the deal was to do with what was being carried. There was 11 trips, 11 journeys along this water. 11. And Christopher was being thanked by Guido. You did a good deal because he told him what he had to pay to the merchant. The merchant sold him the gunpowder. It's to do with a ship. It's come by ship. And he's done the deal.
Derek talks about Christopher Wright doing a deal with a merchant ship captain to get the gunpowder. And that's almost certainly how it actually happened. To get the gunpowder from a merchant ship is the easiest way of doing it because they carry it around to defend themselves. And Wright is a hard-faced man of action, the sort of lad who'd set up the deal.
So Wright, Christopher, 11 trips. Now that's very interesting, they made 11 trips. But also ship, because we don't actually know exactly where the gunpowder came from. You know,
Came from a ship.
There are questions surrounding whether it was imported by sympathisers.
Came from a ship, Angus, and the deal was done. It was taken to a room, a cellar, and held there. And they knew that they could cover it up to make the journey this way.
The gunpowder was taken across the river to a house close to Parliament that the plotters had hired in December 1604. Some people believe the original plan was to create a tunnel, but this proved too dangerous. So the plotters used a cellar under the House of Lords. It was leased from John Waynard by one of the conspirators, Thomas Percy. Over the following months, 36 barrels of gunpowder were moved into the cellar.
Well, the next stage of our quest takes us to Oxford, where we have been granted exclusive access to the lantern that Guy Fawkes carried when he was arrested in London. The lamp is currently being restored in the museum's laboratories. Just run us through what you're hoping to achieve here.
Well, within this artifact here remains the energies of bygone times and people who've maybe been involved with it. It will also throw out maybe mental pictures to me and give me characters, personalities, and then trying to dissect, you know, who these individuals are or what is it this lamp has meant to them.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
I've got goose pimples. Come on, let's get started. Just in anticipation, I'll let you do your work.
Well, firstly, the first amazing thing that seems to be jumping out at me is I've been transported back with yourself, so to speak. Now, if you can't see that, I'm sorry, but it's like as if I'm stuck. Not stuck, I'm housed in a darkened area. I don't seem to have great height above me, but I seem to be moving around. This is a character, a personality that has had some association with this item. And he's like this, and he's got his head down, he's thinking deeply and thoughtful. This is like a strong man, a man quite tall, who would be, what can I say? Like a warrior spirit in this man, a person who would be good in battle, fighting and so on and so on. And yet I've got this gentle approach with him as well. I've got this meaningful approach. Also, what comes to mind here, it's placed in front of me. It's like the symbol of faith. And I get the cross. The cross is here within the fabric here. And with this, I'm also getting JJ. JJ comes from this. JJ.
JJ.
I didn't, what this, that's initials, JJ. And I'm also, this man is quite a strong man. He's got brown, it's a blend of brown and reddy beard and hair under the nose.
Physically, Guy Fawkes is a looker. He's a redhead. He's got auburn hair and beard and grey-blue eyes. He's a handsome man in the prime of life. Tall, lean, fit, enticing.
I keep on, why it's emitting this, I don't know. But I'm getting a confliction coming from this, Angus. And one moment I'm getting a Spanish influence or something of understanding Spanish, and then suddenly I'm in France. And I feel, I'm not saying that this item went to Spain or France, but it's got a connection for, and I can't quite work it out.
Yeah.
GF. JJ and GF come together.
To try to keep the plot a secret, Guy Fawkes used the alias John Johnson. It was during his time on the continent that he adopted the name Guido. It is believed Fawkes left England in 1593 for Flanders, now modern-day Belgium, where he enlisted in the Spanish army. He is known to have held a post of command when the Spanish took Calais in 1596. The conspirators recruited Guy because he was an explosives expert from his time as a soldier. It was also an advantage that he had not been seen in England for a decade and never spent much time in London. His face would not be recognized, and he could carry out the plot without suspicion.
Thomas Percy. Thomas, we don't trust you, Thomas Percy. We're aware you've been told the letter. You've been told of the letter. He's worried over the letter. The communication, the letter. What do? We must get Francis. They know I'm not John Johnson. Flanders, I've got to go to Flanders. I must go to Flanders now. I must go. No. There's great anger, and we cannot do anything about it. We must make our arrangements to go.
Go where, Derek?
The energy. I'm sorry, forgive me. There's two that's going off to another county. I feel it's horseback, and they're going off.
Derek, can you tell us anything else about the letter? What it means, any significance?
The letter is of a warning to the faithful. They do not want them to suffer. They do not want them to suffer. The letter of communication is intercepted or is given.
And this is what's making them feel angry?
Yes, absolutely, Angus, absolutely. They're livid. I feel the name Francis did something that upset this group of men by informing others of what these men were going to do, himself included. And I feel there was a family relationship with someone. I can't say who because I'm not guessing that, but there was a family relationship, and I feel it's because of this family relationship. What has been given to me here is that there would have been It's like a person being an informant, but not being an informant.
Francis Tresham is the last conspirator to be brought into the group, only 3 weeks before Parliament meets. He's brought in because he's inherited a family fortune, and the conspirators need his money. However, they also know he's notoriously unreliable. Derek's right about a family connection. He's a cousin to Robert Catesby, and he's also got a sister married to Lord Monteagle, the man who received the notorious letter.
So, Francis, they're all pretty angry.
Yes.
JJ,
Yeah.
GF,
Yes.
so John, Guy
Yes.
Fawkes.
Yes.
Makes sense.
I feel there's a greater depth to this, which I feel hopefully we can unfold later. We're only starting. But I feel there was something going on from the arresting people that would be the story is not complete.
Coming up on Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes. Derek gets to see the actual letter that betrayed the plotters, which has been preserved at the National Archives at Kew in West London. And we'll journey to the Tower of London as Derek experiences what Guy Fawkes felt ahead of his torture and interrogation by the King's soldiers.
Sentimental imagery of thoughts over something that a man called Grant did.
Welcome back to Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes. So far, Derek has made a psychic connection with Robert Catesby, one of the key conspirators of the gunpowder plot, at the site of the Duck and Drake pub in London, where the plot was hatched.
Catesby, Robert Catesby.
Also, Derek claims that it took 11 journeys by boat to transport 36 barrels of gunpowder to the Houses of Parliament.
11 journeys.
Wow. And we know that an anonymous letter was sent to Lord Monteagle, warning him of the gunpowder plot. And Derek also talked of a family connection with this.
The letter of communication is intercepted.
Well, it's time now for us to continue our quest as we move on to our next location. It's here at the National Archives in Kew in London that the actual letter is kept. And we're hoping Derek can tell us who sent that letter and why.
My lord, I've been delivered of a letter which I am to read to you most urgently.
Although the letter was vague, it clearly warned William Parker, the 4th Lord Monteagle, to avoid the state opening of Parliament. But why did the servant read the letter out loud? This being the same servant who goes on to warn the plotters of the letter's existence. But why Lord Monteagle rushed off to tell the Secretary of State Robert Cecil is also still a mystery.
No harm, for the danger is past as soon as you have burnt the letter. I hope God will give you the grace to make good use of it, to whose holy protection I commend you.
Now, Derek, during your reading of the lantern,
Yes.
you said there was a message. You mentioned this. That could have referred to this letter known as the Monteagle letter. Amazingly, it survived 400 years. We're wondering if you can give us anything from this.
Well, you know, Angus, just by holding it, emanations almost immediately are surrounding me from the residual energy, being transported from this letter here. I become aware, and I also want to point out, without alarming anyone, that since I'm holding this letter, I'm very aware of a spirit man who's actually viewing us, watching us. He's in our atmosphere. I won't say he's concerned, he is interested. Now, I'm going to place it down, if I may. Okay. And I'm aware of a man and the energies of a man who actually put pen to paper, meaning this here. A man who's articulate, a man who's probably got an important position, or he's a well-respected man. He's not just the run-of-the-mill. And I feel with this man, he is not, I can tell that, he is not one of a group of these men in this plot. He is not. He's got someone there. He told this man that he wanted him to take and deliver this, and I feel this letter. This man that takes... Okay. Who is this, Sam? Can you help me with this? From here, I'm getting the first name, Robert. Robert. Robert C. Cecil. Robert Cecil.
Derek's theory that Robert Cecil wrote the letter, or to be more exact, Robert Cecil had the letter written, is one of the classic theories about the gunpowder plot. And it's quite plausible, but it's been around quite a while. Cecil would have had the letter written in order to spring the plot on the public in the most dramatic possible way.
This soul who wrote this letter, this soul, the name Robert Cecil, whilst he was writing this letter, what was coming into his mind, I feel, was William. William? This must go to William. Parker must read this. Parker must read this.
Parker?
Parker. Parker.
Lord Monteagle is the most slippery character in our story. On the one hand, he poses as a great Catholic champion, speaking on behalf of Catholics in the House of Lords. On the other, he's secretly writing to the government, offering to become Protestant, and saying he'll do anything to help the king. And he comes out of the plot rich. He gets a massive golden handshake for warning the government that something's about to happen.
It's carry favour all from these letters, these words and the residual coming over. Not a good soul, a person not to be trusted, the one who wrote this letter.
When he says that Cecil can't be trusted, it depends on which side you're standing. Cecil is the entirely trustworthy, devoted servant of the king. It's just if you're one of the enemies of the king, Cecil is one of the most dangerous, slippery customers you've got to get past.
Francis did speak out and told he was loose of tongue, he couldn't help himself. And he told his cohort, who in turn went and told his governor, who in turn sat and thought about it. What can I gain from this? And if it's just passed on and I pass it on just verbally, it won't be believed. And James won't believe it.
On the evening of the 4th of November 1605, Robert Cecil ordered that the cellars be searched. Guy Fawkes was discovered guarding the barrels of gunpowder. He was arrested and bound and taken to King James at his apartments in the Houses of Parliament. The assembled politicians and courtiers tried to extract a confession out of Fawkes. When he repeatedly refused, he was taken to the Tower of London next morning by boat.
And it's here at the Tower of London where our quest continues. After Guy Fawkes' arrest, he was taken downriver by boat. Now, although the City of London has changed beyond recognition over the last 400 years, you still get a sense of what it was like as you approach the Tower of London and Traitor's Gate. You know, to just think what it must have been like for him coming here.
Absolutely. A mixture of feelings flood my psychic side of my head. And it's like, I've got this feeling of a resolute strength. Not, and I take it maybe this is the way Guy Fawkes was thinking as he was being brought here, a resolute strength, a lot stronger than what people would think. So it's a strength within, but also flooding through his mind, I felt that certain people that were involved in his group, he would be not so much worrying, but thinking what was happening with those other men, what was actually happening with them, because that's what's flooding me at the moment. I feel maybe when he arrived at this point, he sent out mental thoughts out into the ether, and he may have been heard by the people that have got him, ready to take him through. He'd mentioned, I feel, a name.
Got a name?
What I got, yes. And he said, yes, that is correct. So he was sent on mental imagery of thoughts over something that a man called Grant did, and he wasn't happy about.
Right.
He wasn't happy with someone called Grant. whether Grant was a person that, because I don't know who Grant is, but whether Grant could have helped him, or could have got a warning to him, or could have helped him. And it's like over and as he was coming down the water, over and over again, he's sending these thoughts out about Grant. Grant could have helped him.
There's nothing in history that indicates why Guy Fawkes might have been irritated with John Grant. John's one of the most reliable people in the plot. He's also one of the darkest horses in it, a quiet, devoted man who gets on with his job and doesn't get in the way. And he isn't one of the leading conspirators, but there may have been some tiff between the two men for reasons for which we have no record.
What can you tell us more about Guy Fawkes? I mean, you mentioned strength there. We know he was a very strong man. He must have been so determined.
Not only was he resolute of character, he was a bit, I feel, I'm not a warmonger or a person who would want to go into physical battle, but this man, I feel, was, well, I don't know, as we talk about sportsmen being perfect athletes, this Guy Fawkes, I feel, would have been such a battler. A man that had strength, not just mentally, but physically. I feel not a small man, quite a big man. And I feel he had a warrior type way about him, totally different than all the other individuals that were linked with him. He knew he was the one that had to deliver. He knew that it was, you know, he had the confidence, he had the know-how, he had the way about him to do this job. They were just helpers. He was the one that was being looked upon to be seen to do this job.
Coming up on Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes, Derek attempts to discover how Guy Fawkes coped under torture and interrogation.
My head is just being squashed in for some reason.
And Derek uses his psychometric skills on the surviving original confession by Guy Fawkes. Welcome back to Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes. Now, legend has it that on a quiet night, you can still hear the ghostly cries of Guy Fawkes from the Tower of London. But nobody really knows what actually happened here 400 years ago. Did he betray his conspirators, or did he defy his interrogators so that they could escape to the continent? Professor Hutton, tell us about the imprisonment of Guy Fawkes in the Tower of London.
We know that Guy Fawkes was tortured for 3 days in succession. When he goes into the tower, he's still saying nothing. On the first day, they begin to break him. He gives his name and admits there's a plot. Second day, he gives them the details of the plot. Third day, he starts to give the names, the conspirators. And the really sad thing, it was all for nothing. By the time that he was giving up the real details, they'd caught the gang anyway.
Do we know what methods of torture were employed against him?
We know pretty well exactly what happened to Guy Fawkes because James the King gives the order that the gentler tortures be used unto him, proceeding by degrees to the most severe. Now, the gentler are the manacles. Now, these are iron gloves stuck up on the side of the prison wall. And you're hanged by your hands in the gloves, and the gloves are tightened on you until the blood runs down your wrists as your hands are crushed. And you're left dangling there until your muscles scream. That's the gentle. They then proceed to the rack, which means you're stretched on your back by cords that pull upon your arms and legs until the tendons and the sinews are being ripped, and eventually your arms and legs simply come out of their sockets. But you can see the effect on him by his signatures and the confessions, which get weaker as they go on. In between the bouts of torture, he'd probably been put in a prison called Little Ease, which means you can't lie down, you can't stand up, and so you can't sleep, so you're further broken. He'd then been put in a regular cell for a couple of months, and at execution had been hanged, cut down while still a bit dizzy, very much alive, then had his genitals cut off and burned before his eyes. Then he'd die as his guts were taken out, his heart would be cut out, and his body chopped into 4 pieces. That's the penalty for treason.
Well, at the National Archives in Kew in London, Derek was granted access to the actual signed confessions of Guy Fawkes. Derek, look at these. These are 2 confessions, both of Guy Fawkes.
Yes.
Amazing, really. History in our hands. Look at this one. You know, the calligraphy, so much more clear. Look at the length of it.
Yes, yes.
And then look at this one here. We've got his signature.
There it is, yeah.
And here we have it very faintly.
At this point, I don't see heavy feelings of individuals in cruelty with him. I just feel it as if we have this like gentle feeling which he could endure and he could take within his stride. But here, this is like heavy, as if we got to this point where I feel the conditions of, if I may use that word, torture or putting him under heavy pressure was so much greater. And yet, you know, Angus, I get within a short space of time. I don't feel it's a long space of time between him being energised and then suddenly to be not energised. In other words, totally weak. In actual fact, at this point, I feel the soul would virtually be able to speak.
Yeah.
You know, in and out of like consciousness.
So armed with this information, we return to the place where the confessions were signed, the Tower of London.
This magnificent building was built by William the Conqueror in 1078 as a symbol of power over the city of London. By 1605, it had become notorious as a place of imprisonment and torture of Catholic sympathisers.
We've brought you to the place where Guy Fawkes signed his confessions in the hope that you'll be able to tell us a little bit more about what happened to him under interrogation.
What I do feel, Angus, is that I just seem to want to go mindset, psychically, into feeling the absurd feelings of great, I'm trying to find the right word for this, great hate and great feelings of not just humiliation, but I feel as if where this man is concerned, Guy Fawkes, this man would have endured, and this is the first time in this investigation on this track of Guy Fawkes, I've felt the depth of this. And
Can you tell us anything, is there anything at all about where he was kept, the kind of conditions in a small space? Was it a cell?
I feel in actual, yes, I feel as if he was an interrogation area is a separate to the torture area.
Right.
I feel as if there's a shift with this man, whether it be a short shift, but I feel it wasn't one torturer, Angus. I feel as if I want to talk about three in all, that would go from one in a torture situation to a greater, deeper torture.
Yeah.
And watching his body language, how he was responding to this, then he'd go on to the next level, and then it's like a shifting from one area to another. It's like as if I've got a small area, then a bigger, another area, but a bigger opening, and him being shifted through.
Like
But
confinement and interrogation?
Yes, and you know, something, a stench, a terrible, again, what I talked about earlier.
Yeah, you come back to this.
A stench of, I can't really describe it. It makes me feel now, okay, as if it's repulsive. And I take it to be total violation of the physical body with the soul prior to us leaving this physical body, meaning death. And I feel as if he would have been aware. It's like when a person is broken or bones are shattered, it's like as if I get this feeling of his knowledge of what is actually happening to him. I wouldn't be at all surprised that certain body parts, okay, were like joints reeked out and things like that. The sheer agony I'm feeling here makes me feel, just for this short space of time in this ether, the anger, the inner anger, and the pain of not being able to do anything about this. You know, to go and being taken and stretched, and the next minute, seeming I've got something pressing down on my head. I feel as if I've got my arms, as if they're just being taken, you know, I'm feeling that they're just going to be taken away from me. And all these things, all in one, coming and emanating from this. The sheer agony for the soul.
I mean, that just sounds completely and utterly grotesque, and it's...
Absolutely,
But yet this man survived, he didn't die here, he went on to be executed.
Something also tells me, in feelings with this man, there was something that was... these things tight around the wrists, and also I want to go to the fingers for some reason, and I want to bend them over. I don't know whether I want to say the use and the break of bones would have been attached here. You know, and stretched and what have you. I'm also picking up, again, sorry, as if my head is just being squashed in for some reason. Maybe I've got something that's been placed around the head and the shoulders. And I feel taking great joy, as tormentors and torturers, in even trying to seduce, if you like, even more out of the man. How could they take any more out of this man when he couldn't even speak? He couldn't even focus. They took him to the limit of total human endurance. But you know, they'd never ever destroy what was going on in here and in there.
I've just been watching Derek talking to Angus there, and most of what I was hearing was very impressive and effective. The really interesting detail to me was his feeling of the stench in the torture chamber, which is not the kind of thing you get out of textbooks or narrative histories. And it's true, because when you're under extreme physical pressure, normal bodily functions give way. And it wouldn't just have been blood and sweat dripping from Guy on the manacles or the rack, especially the rack. So that's an interesting telling detail. It's an insight which is very plausible, in fact real, and you don't normally read in books.
Still to come on our quest, Derek conducts a sensational séance to connect with the spirit of Guy Fawkes himself.
Who betrayed you?
Join us after the break when we visit the Red Lion Inn in Dunchurch in the West Midlands, where the conspirators waited for news of the King's death.
Total disenchantment, it was like a fear.
And we learn more about why they fled to Holbeach House, the place of the gunpowder explosion, and their dramatic defence against capture by the authorities. So far, our quest has given us some fascinating insights into Guy Fawkes and the gunpowder plot. Going against conventional historic wisdom, Derek has suggested that the Duck and Drake pub where the plot was originally hatched was closer to the shore of the River Thames. And Derek claims the gunpowder was purchased from a ship merchant by Christopher Wright.
11 journeys along this water.
Although not generally accepted facts, they're not out of the realms of possibility. However, Derek appears to confirm a number of well-known theories about the gunpowder plot.
Meaningful approach.
He gives a vivid description of Guy Fawkes as a quiet, intense, motivated man with an auburn beard and a powerful physique.
That word comes to me like a battler, a person who would be good in battle.
He suggests that the plotters were betrayed by Francis Tresham. Derek claims that a family servant overheard a warning about the plot. But our quest has confirmed Robert Cecil, the equivalent of the King's Prime Minister, wrote the letter to convince the King of the danger and expose the plot in the most dramatic way. Derek has also given us human insights into the character of Guy Fawkes and his bravery under the most terrible torture. But while Guy Fawkes was being interrogated, some of the other plotters were anxiously waiting for news. Now, we're at the site of the Old Red Lion pub in Dunchurch, and it was here that the conspirators nervously waited news of the King's death, under the guise of a hunting party, so that part 2 of their plan could be put into action. Nowadays, the pub is a private residence, but its owners have granted us rare access so that Derek can attempt to find out what happened when the plotters learned of the arrest of Guy Fawkes.
The gunpowder plot did not end with the attempt to blow up the Houses of Parliament. That was only the first stage. Some of Guy Fawkes' fellow conspirators travelled to the Midlands.
We must make our arrangements to go.
Go where, Derek?
Another county. I feel it's for horseback.
There they awaited news of the King's death so that they could move to the second part of their plan. They planned to kidnap the King's daughter, Princess Elizabeth, put her on the throne and make England a Catholic state again.
Just as I've come up, you know, for these few moments into this atmosphere, the residual energy that is still here, thick and fast, from times gone by, it's amazing because I want to go to, it seems this way at this moment, 2 central characters. 2 males, 2 men. One seems to be in defence of himself, the other one seems to be attacking him. Not physically, but in verbal. And, you know, as we come up this corridor, and if we move a little bit further on, the energies are stronger. So
what do you think? Perhaps 2 men arguing?
absolutely, one in defence and the other attacking him. One who is, it's Percy, sounds like Percy,
Right.
seems to be the one who is shouting. It's not just these two men here, there's a number of them, there's more than two.
It's interesting and puzzling that Derek points to Thomas Percy as somebody doing a lot of the arguing at the Red Lion, because nobody mentions him being heavily involved. It's other people, most of all Thomas Winter, who are arguing with Catesby, but nobody mentions Percy, so this is outside history.
So the atmosphere,
Yeah,
it's certainly not a happy one.
not at all. And it was really, I feel, at this pinnacle of time. I feel this was probably early evening of a particular day. And it's like, to me, as if the others were waiting. And also, this other group, because even now I can hear this, like, not so much whispering, but not clear conversations. As if, you know, if we can go a bit further, because up this way. Now, as we just get, it's only a little bit further up the corridor, so I feel as if we're drawn into this end, maybe into that room there, where the group of men who are waiting. Can we go into that area? Because it seems to be taking me in here.
What's in here? The bedroom.
Yes. I feel maybe at this point, whether this was a bedroom going back in time or what, in this place here, they did get this relevant information. And they're waiting for it to happen, they're waiting for the information, they're waiting for this, you know, and yet I feel in this group, there was disenchantment. There was total disenchantment. It was like a fear. This whole place was laden with innate fear.
Now, we're in the second floor of the house.
Yes.
I can imagine then that this group perhaps was hiding from everybody else in what was the pub?
I feel they were in this, like, covering of such, keeping themselves out of sight. But, you know, also what I'm picking up, I'd never, ever, in my work yet to date, ever come across in residual energy the mixtures of personality traits that are contained within this group. And so we've got all this mixture in this group.
Sounds absolutely chaotic.
Ow,
you know, such mass confusion.
Yes.
And horrible, really.
Yeah.
I must say, I don't really like it here. I've got goose
No.
pimples.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, the atmosphere would probably envelope you after being standing here for a little while.
Did they leave here? You know, is there anything at all you can enlighten us?
Yes, I feel that they did leave here. I don't feel that they. It's like the impressions I get is that they waited for news. It was like as if they're waiting for news. The news somehow filtered through to them. I don't know at this moment how, but filtered, and it's as if like, there was like an exodus, okay, from here.
After hearing that Guy Fawkes had been arrested, the plotters quickly decided they should move to a more secure place.
Somebody wrote that letter.
They argued amongst themselves, but finally decided to travel to Holbeach House in the West Midlands. But why did they choose to move?
Yes.
So these guys then, leaving here, what was their feelings?
There was
You know,
fear.
Were they fearing, or were they going to fight? Are they armed men?
I get a mixture, you know, because I get this fear. And yet one of these men, the strong-willed man, is trying to instill in these others who've got this fear and saying, come on. You know what it feels like to me? Is to say, come on, because of your faith, because of it, come on. We'll face, these things. We'll face these people. I feel with some of them, they wanted to run away, they wanted to get on horseback and get off. There was others that were saying, listening to the strong-willed one, and that's Robert. And it's like, I feel a couple of them had this feeling, because that's still left here. It's like, not unlike martyrdom, you know? I'll fight, you know? Although we know our cause, or it's been botched, it's gone. And I feel the fear was that they would leave this place, but also there was a feeling that if they had to face it outside, that they would. And so there was such a, I don't feel, it wasn't a quiet atmosphere. It was a very shouting, anxious atmosphere. It was a weak and a strong atmosphere from different personalities. It was frantic.
Derek's belief that there were quarrels among the plotters is absolutely right, because half the plotters gather at the Red Lion pub in Warwickshire, waiting to start a rebellion once Parliament's been blown to smithereens. Instead, the other half turn up from London in a lather on horseback to say the plot's been betrayed. And then Catesby, after lots of argument, persuades the others to commit suicide by carrying on with the rising anyway. So they head off and end up taking refuge at Holbeach House.
So if these guys had a plan, it seems to me that it's all going up the Swanee.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
You know, it's just all sounds chaotic, as if it's all in disarray. And interesting too, Derek, that you've pinpointed this part of the house, or of course it would have been the pub. So this is where it all happened here. Now, from what you're telling us, actually comparing that to the evidence we have, we know that the men were here. We know that there was fear. And you mention information. Well, they did receive information here, which we believe prompted them to leave. So let's move on to where they went to next.
Yeah.
Derek and Angus now travel the 53 miles to Holbeach House at Kingswinford in the West Midlands, as the plotters did 400 years ago. The gang were well armed and had a good supply of gunpowder, which they had acquired to carry out the second phase of their plot. However, the weather was against them. By the time they reached their destination, they were cold, wet, and despondent. Fearing they would be unable to operate a defence with the damp gunpowder, it was decided to dry the powder in front of a fire. It was a terrible mistake, the resulting explosion blinding John Grant and burning the others. You'll remember Derek talked about this incident earlier in the quest, at the site of the Duck and Drake pub, when he physically experienced being blinded.
My eyes!
As Derek arrives at Holbeach House, his blinding experience now makes sense to him.
First time ever, it was like as if I was transported from that psychic energy into a new realm which I'd never entered before, Angus. And it was like as if I was standing detached, and yet there I was in a different aspect, and a different viewing, if you like. But it's got nothing to do with this building, this in here. Nothing. I would say it was psychically remote viewing, if you want to put it for a finer word. And I'm looking at a scene, a situation. I'm hearing different voices of men and what have you. And it was like as if I couldn't do anything about it. It had to be run through, if you like.
Yeah.
And it was the most fascinating and at some time alarming situation to be find yourself in. And it was definitely away. This picture was away from the Strand. Can I tell you something now? Is where we have come to now, I feel, and I knew it when we first arrived here, is that belongs here.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say to you, because
sorry.
everything that happened the other night, everything you told us was so very accurate. It happened here at Holbeach House in Staffordshire.
This is the first time in 26 years, okay, of developed mediumship that the spirit realm have deemed that sort of thing to happen to me. Yeah. And I don't feel it's so much the spirit realm, but either an individual or a couple of individuals of these plotters that have been around us, not really tried to express themselves. I have mentioned on a couple of occasions about I'm aware of an individual spirit person listening in, watching, seeing what we're doing, yeah. And I feel it was maybe those two that got their heads together to transport me into a situation of what happened to them finally.
Let's go inside.
Please.
Still to come on Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes. As we enter Holbeach House, Derek connects with the spirit of the gunpowder plot leader himself, Robert Catesby, and experiences his extraordinary final moments.
Thomas, are you with me?
Now, just looking at the building here from the outside, what can you tell us?
Well, as we come close here to this area of the front, I've become aware And again, this is from residual energy, and I don't know whether there's going to be an active spirit here as such as I'm talking, but the residual energy, I get this confusion, I get this shouting, and I'm getting this loud pitched voices shouting out. I get this anxiousness and anxiety. I get out here as well, as if I'm getting voices who are shouting to each other, and it's a lot of voices, there's a lot of them.
Angry?
Angry, absolutely. And it's, I can't really make out what they're shouting, but it's like the anger towards this building.
So how many people are we talking about around the building?
I feel, until I go in there, but I feel there's a number of men, and they're ready to fight. They're ready to fight. There's a lot more out here than what's in this house, in men. A lot more.
The plotters were being closely followed by the Sheriff of Worcester, Sir Richard Walsh. It took Walsh and his men a few hours to get to Holbeach House. But by 11 a.m. that morning, Walsh had the conspirators completely surrounded. There was nowhere for them to go. It looked like their time was up. Those remaining plotters hiding inside the house were Thomas Wintour, Christopher and John Wright, Thomas Percy, John Grant, and the leader Robert Catesby.
The energies, I'm separating the energies from the residual, and it's a different picture altogether. It's different feelings. There's expectancy. There's a negative expectancy here in this energy here.
Yeah.
There's terror. And whilst we're in this atmosphere here, I'm also hearing voices and sounds and shouting out there through that window, and it's adding to the terror. And
I need to mention this, Derek. The other night when we were in the Strand, we were talking about this. The sky's opened up.
Yes.
We've just come in the door. The skies have opened up.
Absolutely. And these sort of things, they do happen. What I'm getting now, Angus, it's like as if he's talking to them and he's saying, now we've got to, for our cause, what our faith is, we go through this door, we go through this door, and he's geeing them up, and he's geeing them up in this atmosphere, and he's strengthening them.
Do we know?
It's Robert. Sorry for shouting, Robert. Robert Catesby. It's like as if he's thinking, come on, faith, men, come on. It's like a martyrdom.
Do the men go through the door?
Yes, some of them do.
Do they meet the people outside and the people inside?
Can I tell you what? I feel now that two of them actually bolted to this door. And he was watching them. They went through, the two of them together. It was like one after the other. And they're shouting and screaming, and they've got the guns, and they're pointing, and the next minute, bang, they slumped, the two of them hit and come through the door. It's like one fell, then the other fell. And the others were back here, and the terror again. And the door's open, ajar, and they can hear the screaming from outside.
Do you want to go out the door?
Can we, please? Yes.
John and Christopher Wright were the first out of the door. They were followed by Thomas Wintour and Ambrose Rockwood. Walsh's men were at first cautious. Some of the conspirators had reputations as the finest swords in the country. A furious and bloody battle followed.
It's Catesby. He's seen these two men. John and Christopher. John and Christopher are down. They're down. He knows they're down. He's shouting them. He's checking them. He knows they've gone.
All were eventually shot and forced back into the house. The Wright brothers being mortally wounded.
He's turning to the other man. Come on now. Come on. Go out with your faith. Go out with your faith. Don't let them collect us and take us.
This is
Robert
Catesby.
Robert Catesby. And, you know, there's another that's also saying about pulling the men, the two bodies, aside here. And it's Thomas. Thomas is helping him. And he's in a conversation, Catesby, with Thomas. And he's saying, we should go together. Let's go out together.
Are we talking about a big battle? About
Yes.
a lot of violence, a lot of shooting, or
Absolutely, yes, a lot. So many men out there and firing guns. Like, it was just, they had no chance. They had no chance. They were so outnumbered. He knew it was a lost cause. But, you know, I feel that he told them there was a worse fate for them if they were to be captured.
Thomas Percy and Robert Catesby made one last heroic stand against Walsh's men. They faced death together by charging out of the house side by side. Legend has it they were both killed by the same bullet.
One fell. I saw one then a moment ago, and he fell, and he was way back, and he's been tended to, and they've said that they've shattered his shoulder and his arm. Who is that one? Wiltor? Wiltor. Okay.
Wilter.
Wilter.
Winter, it makes sense.
And he's okay. He's just a broken limb and shoulder and arm. I'm counting here. There's the two, then the other two. They go out. They go out, and they were also shot.
Thomas Percy was killed outright, but Robert Catesby managed to stagger back towards the house.
Catesby's crawling back in. He wants to come back in.
He dragged himself over the bodies of his fallen comrades. Finding an image of the Virgin Mary, he is said to have clutched it in his hands until he died.
He's holding something. He's holding the symbol. He's holding the symbol. He's speaking to his Lord. Please receive me in my faith. Thomas, are you with me? Are you with me? We went out together. I leave my soul and heart to be collected by the Almighty. Make it swift, my dear Father God.
Thomas.
It is done.
What are you feeling, Derek?
You don't.
In a dramatic conclusion, Derek experiences the final moments of Robert Catesby's life.
All right.
Derek, what happened?
I was,
All right. Stay like that.
He was hit. He was hit, and he asked his creator to collect him. And he was talking about bravery. He kept on saying Thomas Percy, because I feel that these two were mortally wounded at the same time.
Two of the best-known facts about the gunpowder plot are that Percy and Catesby are mortally wounded with the same bullet, and that Catesby crawls indoors to die and is found clutching an image of the Virgin. It's actually a picture.
Just, it might get up, please. Yeah.
You okay?
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Annie.
You exhausted?
Yeah.
Sit down, don't get up. Sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down. You in any pain at all?
No.
No?
No. I just, you know something? I felt a peace and serenity. It seemed to just envelope me, and I felt good, and I felt as if, you know, I'm okay now.
Yeah.
And I feel that must have been when he actually left. His spirit left the physical body, was just leaving, and he didn't have any qualms about it because it was peaceful.
Yeah. Which makes us think about death and the way we interpret death, not just back 400 years ago, but now, in the modern day.
Absolutely.
But leaving the body.
Yeah. Well, that feeling that was there with me, I know I was taking it on from this man, but it's amazing even this, okay? On the day, the elements letting go like this.
Yeah.
And I suppose it is in response to what we're actually doing.
Who knows if the thunder, lightning and heavy downpours were connected to our investigation? What we do know is that the plotters at Holbeach House decided to die as martyrs rather than traitors. The other plotters were arrested and joined Guy Fawkes at the Tower of London. Join us for the sensational climax to our quest for Guy Fawkes as we travel back to the Houses of Parliament and discover how the traitors met their grisly deaths.
Parts just dropping away from him.
And we return to York to conduct a séance in an attempt to connect with Guy Fawkes and resolve that unanswered question. Why did the plotters continue even though the authorities had been alerted to their plan? Are you Guy Fawkes?
Yes!
It was at Westminster Hall, here at the Palace of Westminster, on the 27th of January 1606, that the surviving plotters were put on trial. All were found guilty of high treason, and the harshest punishment was dealt to them. They were to be hung, drawn and quartered, a public execution method designed to be as grotesque, as painful and as humiliating as possible.
The executions began at 8 a.m. Guy Fawkes was the last of the plotters to be killed. It is said that he was so weak from his torture and imprisonment that he had to be helped up the steps to the gallows by his executioner. The large crowd cheered as the conspirators were hung by the neck until they were half dead. They were brought down from the gallows and then had their genitals cut off and burnt in front of them. Still alive, their bowels and hearts were ripped out. Finally, the traitors had their limbs and heads cut off. Their remains were left in the open to be eaten by birds.
OK, Derek, so here we are at the site of Guy Fawkes' execution. Now, can you explain why you're using the torch here?
Yes, very easily, Angus. This here is fire is one of the 4 elements that exist and link with our living here. Fire, water, air and Mother Earth. And this will enhance and help energies from bygone times, especially the residual energies, from being emitted from the fabric even of the ground that we actually stand here on, or even from this building at the back in this area.
OK, you're closing your eyes there.
Yes.
Are you feeling anything from existing energies?
Absolutely. What seems to come very, very strongly here, and it's a sense that comes over and envelopes my physical being, and I feel as if I'm in terror. I feel there's a feeling of terror here in this area. I feel there's a great feeling of unhappiness, a great deal of anger. All these things are all coming out at the same time. There's also a great feeling of an expectancy, but not really knowing what to expect. And there's a screaming out, a shouting out into the atmosphere. And to me, it's barbaric. The feelings are a stretching of the neck, a feeling of looking down and looking at his physical parts being just dropping away from him. But it's horrible.
Awful.
It's horrible to be looking down and experiencing this and still being conscious of that you're still in the physical body, quietly crying out for mercy, maybe for his creator to take him from this most miserable, horrible state, and for ridicule still happening down below him from people who are his persecutors. You see, this man, when he was under his persecution, while he was still conscious, but still getting these barbaric things done to him, was shouting out to 2 names. It was a female and a male. That's who he was shouting out to. It wasn't God. It was to his mother and his father. His mother and his father. He was shouting out for them to come and release him, to take him from this area. I feel there's more to be revealed. It's not the ending. There's information that can and will be revealed to you.
So for the conclusion of our quest, Derek will attempt through a séance to connect with the spirit of Guy Fawkes in his childhood home of York. Well, here we are at Guy Fawkes' cottage, where we believe he spent most of his early childhood. Now, Derek has said that a stronger connection could be made with the spirit of Guy Fawkes in a place that would have held happy memories. So here we're going to conduct a séance. Now, to enhance the energy and evoke the spirit of Guy Fawkes, I've invited from York Dungeon, Damien Fleck. Good to see you, Damien. You're an expert in Guy Fawkes. You're looking forward to this?
Very much looking forward to it, yeah. It's very exciting. I've got big passion for Guy Fawkes and the gunpowder plot story, so looking forward to it.
Good. Well, Derek's already inside, psyching himself into the atmosphere, preparing himself. Let's join him. Come on. Now, Derek, just explain to us what exactly we're going to do here.
Well, we're going to collectively go into a séance. A séance to try and hopefully connect with Guy Fawkes or any other spirit person that could be in the atmosphere at this given time. So hopefully we are going to enter into the séance. We are going to, in actual fact, cover ourselves up in what we call protection, spiritual protection. And then when we have finished the séance, we are also then going to close the séance with what we call the light of spirit protection, and we'll walk away from the atmosphere.
OK.
Okay?
Right, well, let's conduct the séance.
Can we place our hands together? Thank you. Okay. Guy Fawkes, if you are listening, please, we do know that you have, no doubt, a tender memory and feeling for this area. Please, will you step forward and let yourself be known? What is actually happening now, Damien, Angus, is that there's an energy, in actual fact, 4 energies that I can see, even though I've got my eyes closed. I'm aware there's 1 lady and 3 gentlemen.
What are you seeing, Derek?
This lady seems to be walking around the circle now, and I feel it's as if she's testing the feelings of our energies. If either yourself, Angus, Damien, feel anything coming around, a change of temperature, touch, please say so. There's a tenderness about her, and there's also a feeling of willingness to come close, more so than the 3 gentlemen. I heard a man's voice, and he's repeated it 3 times, and I'm going to repeat what I've just heard.
Tell us.
Edith, come along. Edith, come along.
No, I believe that Edith is the name of Guy Fawkes' mother.
Oh.
Who's the man, Derek?
I can't quite make out this. There's another 2 joined. There's 6 of them now.
What's that noise?
Just here.
Did you hear that? That
Yes.
tapping?
Yes. The energy's building now, Angus. This is encouraging now. Come forward.
Who's the man, Derek?
Don't. Oh, okay. Edward.
Did you hear that, Damien?
I heard that.
It's Edward. Edward.
Edward, now. Unless I'm
Edward.
mistaken, that would be the father of Guy Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes, are you here? Please step forward, sir.
Oh, that made me jump there. I thought I felt a breeze coming across my right hand, your left, Damien. I don't know if it's my imagination or not.
I felt a breeze there on my right hand.
Did you?
Mm.
Oh. Those noises are very strong.
Edward, my dear.
Who are you? What's your name? Edith? You're the mother of Guy Fawkes?
Yes. Yes. My
Are you with Guy Fawkes?
son. He's here.
Your son is here?
He is.
Edith, why did your son continue with his gunpowder plot? when he knew that the authorities had been alerted?
This is a brave boy.
Who sent that letter?
Ask him yourself.
Guy, are you present? Can you speak to us? Are you Guy Fawkes?
Yes!
We've been going all around
Why
the country.
did you...
We want to ask you some questions. Tell me why you hatched the gunpowder plot.
Our faith was so strong!
Who betrayed you? Who went to the authorities? Who went to the authorities?
Find this difficult. It's very, very...
We don't want to harm you. We just want to ask you some questions. Who betrayed you? Was it a friend?
It was not Tresham!
It wasn't?
No!
Who was it? Who betrayed you? Give me a name.
Winter told!
Winter. Winter told.
Robert Winter.
Why did you continue with the plot?
Tresham! We felt Tresham did, but it was not. No one, but no one would ever have thought Winter.
He was pressurized into it.
Yes.
Why did you continue when the authorities knew of the plot? Why did you continue?
A soldier. Faith. The other son. Tresham, a lunatic. A lunatic. A lunatic, but he did not sell me for those pieces of silver. Until I string, I'd cut him. I'd do all things to him.
He betrayed you.
Yes. Yes, he did. Look at my gut. Look at my gut. Because of him.
You were tortured?
Oh. They did not break me, no.
You told them nothing?
I had to.
You told them?
Derek. It's Ray. Derek. It's Ray. Come on. Step forward. Breathe.
Right, okay. Ray, will you take me out, please? Take me out, please. Will you take me out, please? Please take me out. Please. Just a moment.
After Derek's dramatic contact with Guy Fawkes, he needs a few moments in order to clear himself of Guy's spirit.
The soul's still with me. Still with me.
For a long time.
The further we get away from him, the more he might step up himself.
Okay, he's come away from me, he's come away.
With the spirit of Guy Fawkes released, Derek needs to return to the séance room and close down the circle.
We've come back now to close down this circle of light, and we ask the universal power to allow the spirit people to separate from ourselves as we leave this room, to leave them at peace, and for them to get on with their general life in the spirit realms. We have peace, we have tranquility, and we have calm as we now break this cycle.
Derek's revelation that a Winter somehow betrayed the plot frankly astounds me.
Winter?
There are two Winter brothers, Thomas and Robert, and they're about the most reliable people in the plot.
Why did you continue?
Soldier! Faith!
When Derek says that Guy Fawkes continued with the plot because he was a soldier of faith, this fits the history perfectly well. It's what we'd expect. He saw himself as a crusader who would go to heaven when he got killed. Why not carry on?
Well, Derek, how do you feel after that?
Well, I'm feeling better and I'm feeling stronger now, Angus.
Is this what you expected?
You couldn't wish for this in, I don't know, 10,000 years. To get it in one evening like this, I treasure it. It's something so special.
Now, Damien, what about you? What have you experienced this evening?
It was quite amazing. I felt early on lots of, it was like breezes over the hands and knees, and when we were asking Guy Fawkes questions, it was just literally right across all my shoulders all the way back. It was just like really strange vibrations. Never felt anything like that. It was very odd.
Well, I think the quest has been very exciting, exhilarating and insightful. Thank you, Derek. Now let's remind ourselves how we got here. Our quest has resulted in some startling revelations. Derek tells us that the River Thames was nearer to the site of the Duck and Drake pub than conventional history supports.
We're so close to the running water.
He believes that Christopher Wright bought the powder from a merchant ship and required 11 journeys by boat to get to the Houses of Parliament.
There was 11 trips, 11 journeys.
Derek also claims that the King's Prime Minister Robert Cecil wrote the Monteagle warning letter after a servant overheard one of the plotters, Francis Tresham.
He did speak out and told he was loose of tongue.
And that there was a family connection with this letter.
The letter is of a warning. They do not want them to suffer.
At Holbeach House, Derek connected with the spirit of plot leader Robert Catesby in the final moments of his life and tells us that Thomas Percy and Robert Catesby were killed by the same bullet.
Were mortally wounded at the same time.
Sensationally, Derek reveals through his connection with Guy Fawkes that it was not Francis Tresham, but a Winter who actually betrayed the plot.
Ever a thought, Winter.
And that the conspirators continued on knowing the authorities had been alerted because they were deeply religious fanatics.
Soldier, faith.
Who were willing to die for a cause they believed in. So remember, the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason and plot. This has been Derek Acorah's quest for Guy Fawkes. Good night.